Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Today we're going to be taking a look at AnnounceKit top alternatives. Now, you may be using AnnounceKit already, or perhaps if you're in the product management space, you certainly would have heard of them. They're a well-established company and been around for quite some time. Now, when looking at streamlining communication, specifically around product releases and different platforms and tools that you can use, you may want specific key features within the tool itself, and perhaps AnnounceKit isn't delivering specifically in terms of what you're looking for. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at our top alternatives, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, and what is important to keep in mind with the alternatives that we're having a look at. Now, the first one on our list is LaunchNotes, and this is probably one of the top that is always on my list in terms of keeping everyone in the loop with regards to product releases. Now, AnnounceKit is really easy to use, and when I am communicating, that is a top priority for me, specifically for product updates with specific user audiences in mind. This is probably one of the tools that does this the best in my experience that I've come across, because that you can segment your audience so well within the tool. Now, if we're looking at specifically changelogs and release notes, they are able to manage this really effectively. So in terms of our pros, I find that it syncs really well with Jira, and that's one of the tools I use quite often. It can be quite a polarizing tool, but I feel like it's hard to get away from in this space, and they do this really well in terms of integrations. Now, I like that you can communicate really well. You can personalize a lot of the updates that you're sending out, and specifically to audiences based on segmentation, as mentioned earlier. So you can set up things like cohorts. So you can set out specific updates even to users that have not yet subscribed for specific updates, which is really powerful within a tool like this. As mentioned, you can set up the communications to be a widget or specifically to mails, integrate them into things like your RSS feed into different channels like Slack, so that you're targeting users specifically in terms of where they are seeing those updates. Really powerful tool, really easy to use. They've even got things like writing assistance with the AI features, which I really like, quite useful and really easy to use and trial out. Now, in terms of pricing itself, they only have one plan available, and that is the growth option, alternatively a premium option, which does come with custom pricing. However, that is annual billing only, so do keep that in mind. They do not have a free plan available, but they do have a free trial, which I do recommend having a look at. It is a free 14-day trial available to you. Overall, I really like this tool, really easy to use. In terms of the cons, I would say that perhaps one of the newer tools, so not all the integrations are quite yet fleshed out within the tool. However, still really great, and a really great way to keep your users updated and segmented. Now, the next tool on our list is Beamer, and if you've come across the product management space, you would have certainly come across Beamer before. It is now one of the more powerful tools that I've used in the past. It is really great for user engagement with effective communication. So in-app messaging, really great in terms of the actual widgets itself. I do like that you can customize this quite extensively. So if you're finding that users aren't perhaps engaging the way that you like, you are able to then go and configure specifically based on what you wanting to reach out of your user audience. Now, really great way to identify issues quite ahead of time, and you can tailor your messages specifically to your user audience. Now, I do want to mention that I find that for me, you aren't able to segment your audience as well as some of the other tools like LaunchNotes. However, still really effective in terms of the features that they have available. So Changelogs, NPS is quite strong with them, so Net Promoter Scores, if you've not come across this before, they do this quite well within the tool. So tracking things like customer happiness, really, really great in terms of the features that they do have available. I think this is one of the strongest selling points as well. And of course, able to collect feedback via roadmaps and ideas straight into your tool, which is great. Now, in terms of the pricing itself, Beamer offers a different pricing. So they've got 3 different plans to choose from, including a start plan, pro plan, and of course a scale plan. And they do offer discounts specifically for annual billing or commitments. They do have a free trial available, but no free plan. So do have a look at them if you are looking at a tool like this. Now, next on our list is Featurebase. So in terms of Featurebase, I would say this is probably one of the really more simple tools in terms of product releases. And they are designed specifically with user feedback in mind. So keeping feedback in the user feedback in the loop and doing that all within one tool, they do quite well. In terms of the features itself, so as mentioned, feedback and roadmaps is one of the more prominent features within the tool. They do have a free plan or free trial available, no credit card required, which is always a plus for me. Now, in terms of the kind of standout features within the tool, they do integrate everything into one space, which I quite like. So while you've got some of the other tools which can be a tad bit more complicated, they do have all the features within one space, and you are able to manage a lot of things like roadmaps, and they do have AI features built in, which is quite cool. I do like that within the tool itself. Automatic email updates is super important for me, and also being able to sync customer data really easily within the tool itself is always a plus. I do like that they've got custom domain and branding options available so that you can keep your user updates looking really clear, professional, and polished within the tool itself. Now, I do find that the customization options are a little bit limited compared to some of the other tools. So if you're having a look at options like Beamer or like LaunchNotes, they do go quite far within in terms of your branding ability. So branded emails, you're able to use a lot of your corporate identity colors, branding, logos, that kind of thing, even in terms of your CSS colors and that kind of thing, all able to be quite customized within the tool itself. I do find Featurebase is less customizable. However, they do have a lot of the really great standout features that some of the bigger tools do have. Now, in terms of pricing, it's probably one of the more affordable options, and they are one of the few that do have a free plan. So where you may be not getting as many features or a feature-rich tool like some of the other options, they do have a great free option. If you are kind of a small business, you've never used a tool like this before, I do recommend having a look at them. The growth plan is also a great one. So quite unlimited in terms of the options there, which is really great for growing businesses or startups that do need on-brand experience and access to a lot of the major features here. I do like a tool that does have really transparent pricing like this, where you can kind of see additional membership payments and all the features that they offer within the tool itself. So as mentioned, a lot of things like roadmaps, feedback collection, that kind of thing, quite rich offerings within the tool itself. Now, the next tool that we're going to be having a look at is AnnounceFly. Now, AnnounceFly is also a simple, super simple tool to have a look at. And they do focus specifically on changelogs. So if that's something that is important for your organization, I do want to mention they do a really, really great option in terms of increasing product adoption, notifying users of different changes and that kind of thing within your organization, and really kind of simple and easy to use. So also like one of those real lightweight tools that you can get up and running within minutes. Really great integrations with things like Slack. So I'd say probably in comparison to some of the other tools I've used, really quite a low learning curve here. You could probably get set up and running within minutes, whereas other tools will take quite a bit of customization to get things kind of looking like the way that you want them to. So although super simple, super easy to use, they do have a lot of great features within the tool itself. Now, they've got a lot of options in terms of notifications, so you can get that up and running within minutes, and you can do things like embedded video tutorials using things like webinars, that kind of thing, and also have links to documentations if you are needing additional context for your users. So do keep in mind that too simple can be a problem when you are looking at tools like this because you're not able to maybe segment your audience as much as you can with some of the other tools available, and possibly maybe limited in terms of a mobile app. So if that is important for your organization, I would recommend possibly looking at some of the other tools because it is a little too simple, perhaps. However, with that being said, simple is easy, especially if you're a one-man show or a startup company that might be looking at something that is a little bit easier to use. Now, with that in mind, I do find that they are quite pricey for such a simple tool. So just starting at $99 a month already. But keep in mind that this is up to 1,000 monthly active users. However, one team user, one workspace. So I would say that they probably on the costlier side for such a simple tool, in my opinion. However, overall, quite easy to use. So if there is something that is important for your organization, do keep in mind that they might be a good fit for you. Now, when comparing the other tools, keep in mind that where LaunchNotes focuses on really great customer segmentation, audience communication, focus management, Beamer is really great for looking at net promoter scores, that kind of thing. Featurebase, probably one of the stronger tools in terms of engagement features, but at a more cost-effective price. And as mentioned, they're probably one of the only tools that have a free plan available that I've seen that is quite feature-rich in this kind of space. Now, in comparison, AnnounceFly really great in terms of changelog and changelog specific notifications. Keep in mind that they are on the costlier side, but if you are looking at something that is really strong in this space, they may be a good tool for you. Now, overall, each tool has its standout features. I would recommend taking a look at the free trial. Take a deep dive into each of these tools by using the free trials available to you. I do want to say that they have very different user interfaces in terms of upskilling using the tool, all quite different from one another. And having a look at the free trial, using and clicking around on the tool will give you a very different experience. And for me, it's always a great deciding factor when I am looking at alternatives. Hopefully, this gives you a good look at some of the alternatives to AnnounceKit and helps you select something that may be best suited for your organization. Thanks for joining.